Danny, that you think the Seahawks should be concerned about?
Not at all. I think all of this was expected, and just look at the last two Super Bowl champs. Like the Eagles, after they won the Super Bowl, they lost Milton Williams. $100 million contract, right? Massively productive player. The Chiefs a couple of years ago, it was a trade, but they're like, man, we can't keep L'Jarius Sneed. Top cornerback, premium position, had to lose him. So Super Bowl champion losing players happens all the time. And I think compared to just the last couple, those guys are not as high a caliber as players as the previous champs lost. And the drop bar on that graphic actually speaks to why they shouldn't be too concerned. Like, all of those guys are drafted by Seattle. Like, John Schneider is on a nice little heater in terms of a general manager building his team through the draft, nailing the Darnold move, signing the guys right. I mean, they have a very deep roster. And so, Greg, you know it better than anybody. There is turnover for every team every year. No matter how young you are, no matter how good a cap position you're in, no matter what championship you won, there will always be turnover. So for a Super Bowl champion, if we put together the top 15 players on the Seahawks, they're probably bringing back 13 of them, 14 of them. So they are just fine. This is honestly, in terms of comparing it to other champions, this is nothing in terms of what champs have lost in the past.
So I'm with you as it pertains to them being just fine. I think they'll be fine, but it's hard to lose really good players and key players, obviously, as the graphic shows, and sustain the type of success you have, specifically on that defense side of the ball. It helps when you have a defensive-minded coach in Mike McDonald, and I would say that we all believe in who he has established himself as a head coach in this league. Why it's concerning a bit is because you're in a division and you're watching the Rams, who was right there, and you took advantage of their defense, specifically their secondary, and you see them, if you're a Seahawks fan, going all in. And they are just retooling, like, you know what, we're going for it again. We're going for it because we know what that team in our division did to us and how they got to where they were to hoist that Lombardi trophy.
And the Niners.
As well as the Niners. But more specifically, like the Rams. So I don't want to make it seem like it's just something to gloss over. But when you have a plan, and you talked about them being drafted, and Snyder, who I was with in Green Bay when he was younger, and obviously he's done a terrific job, a tremendous job of being able to sustain the type of quality players that the Seattle Seahawks have had over the years. You believe in who you are and what you can provide this roster as they currently are constructed with what you do in the draft and what they will continue to do in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a common theme talking about throughout all of free agency and whatnot. You just can't keep everyone. You just can't keep everyone, and especially when you win a Super Bowl, because it's like everyone's opportunity to kind of go out there and then get paid, and you become more cash-strapped and all that fun stuff. It's why you have to be a well-run, well-coached team to be consistently great. If you're only great because of a specific cornerback, a specific running back, a specific defensive event, like, then you can have a great year, you can have a window, but you won't be a consistently great team, a great organization. And so, yeah, when you have a great and elite defensive coach, you're banking on his ability. It's why it's like I would be way more willing to lose defensive players than offensive players. That is where you're then going to put a tremendous amount of trust in your in your head coach of saying, like, you can work through this. This is okay. You can elevate other younger coming players, or whatever it may be. Or is it one of those situations where you're just like, hey, in order for you to be truly elite defensively, do we need this great talent because you just know how to best to optimize that? Like what's kind of the situation here? And my guess is Mike McDonald is definitely a combination of both, of being able to maximize the highest level talent as well as elevating and developing younger talent. So that's why, like, I'd be unconcerned in that regard. And yeah, there's just when you win the Super Bowl, when you win in such dominant fashion and all this type of stuff, the chances of you just looking exactly the same is essentially non-existent, man. And I said this before even with the Kansas City Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl in 22. They were not the same in 23. It didn't look at all the same to the point where nobody thought that they had a chance to win a Super Bowl. And they were not the best team in the NFL. I just do not think they were. They won the Super Bowl. They deserve all the credit in the world. So who doesn't matter who was the best team? You won the Super Bowl. There's people that don't believe that the Seahawks were the best team last year. And it's like, okay, fine. Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Better luck next year. But I do think the Seahawks were the best team last year and they did win the Super Bowl. So becomes a moot point. But it's just hard. There's always going to be that backward step. And so again, that's why not only does your team, your franchise itself need to be good enough to be able to replace them, draft, free agency, strategic drafts, etc. Your coaching staff needs to be able to be great with a less than perfect situation, which again that was the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in 23, as well as now having your key individual players rising to the occasion. That is where Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jig, but pick whoever the heck you want on defense. Plenty of names there. That's when in those individual singular moments. So when you are playing against a team like the Los Angeles Rams who again they're pretty much implying that hey they're taking steps forward. They were able you were able to take advantage of them last year. Now this year you might not be able to do that. Well then that is where you do need the elevation of your key players to rise to that occasion in a way that simply the Los Angeles Rams did not. Right. Matthew Stafford and I think they did play great to be in all fairness, but you could technically make the argument if of a couple of their big playmakers again whether offense or defense just was able to rise to the occasion was just able to elevate ever so slightly. They were to be able to convert that third down, fourth down, get a touchdown, and they beat the Seahawks and then there you go. So, it's just like that's the type of situation that you would be looking in. More. So, potentially the roles reversed if we're just sticking with the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks comp roles reversed, but can your individual playmakers still step up? Can your coaching staff step up? And to me, my biggest concern is offense and offensive coaching and losing Clint Kubiak and right that is always an unknown really. Anytime you bring in a new coach in this type of situation, it's just going to be an unknown. It just is. And we can use their resume as a reference and some of the success that they've had in the past and all that. That's all well and good, but you just don't know. There's always going to be a bit of that question mark unless you have like this true established reputation of like that guy he is special, he is elite, he is great, he is etc. So that's why I was saying I feel more confident losing defensive pieces than offensive pieces because I have the insane amount of trust in Mike Macdonald and as the ability to navigate the necessities of just what happens throughout the course of an entire decade of coaching a great team, and the ups and downs and, and what that looks like. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything to be concerned. It's just that in this moment of time the Seahawks are not in a position to just be able to keep everyone or to make the splash moves to be even better. Like it's just not how it works. It's just in a lot of ways you got to make a deal with the devil to win a Super Bowl. That's just the way it is. And then that's the best thing the NFL has going for it that it's hard for the Seahawks to run it back. It's hard for the Eagles, hard for the Chiefs, it's hard. It's not easy. And it's why a team like the Patriots can end up in the Super Bowl. It's why a team like the Seahawks did end up in the Super Bowl and won it. And we didn't just get a repeat between the Eagles and the Chiefs. That's the beauty. That's the absolute beauty of the NFL. And it's like free agency really proves that. Honestly, you got a crash course in why the NFL is so competitive and so awesome and why teams, even though you just won, it's going to be a lot harder for you to win again. And the teams that had no business even remotely considering calling themselves an NFL team, can now make a run and it's awesome. So, I'm grateful for it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Seattle Seahawks? Are you concerned about the losses? Do you think they're taking steps back? Do you think they're kind of staying the same? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.